the thing about like quantum physics and the many universes, many worlds theory, that like every time you make a decision, there's
an off split.
Yeah, then there's an off split,
right.
because it's like all decisions are like happen, right?
Yeah,
so in this universe, you made one decision, and in another universe you made another decision. So every time you play a game, well, let's say you're playing Eurogame, let's say you're playing a Terra Mystica, every time you make a move, right, there could be another universe, Elaine, that is making a different move, which means that every time you play a game, there is a version of Elaine that scores the best possible score in Terra Mystica, Concordia, like any game you could think of, right? Where it's like decision.
Where are you going with this?
Like, what's the point of playing games? At some point, there is you that just wins every game. Not just wins, just stomps everyone completely. Do you know what I mean?
So what's the point of playing games?
What's the point of playing games, yeah?
That's a bit, I don't know, that's too philosophical. Like, that's like saying, what is the point of doing anything? Because if we're all in the Matrix, if we're all just brains in vats, what's the point? Because we have no control over anything we do. You still need to pay your taxes.
We have control. It's just that there's another Elaine that also makes a difference.
Yeah, but that Elaine isn't me.
Okay.
Is it?
No, I guess, but also is.
No, it's not, though.
Okay. Every time you play a game, there is a you that just crushes it.
How about I don't care?
Do you know what I do care about? We're changing the format again. I'm so sorry, everyone. So, like the last couple of episodes ago, we said we're changing the format and we're just doing free games, And today we are doing 16 games. So we said, nix the free games. We're not doing that format anymore.
Every episode we're doing 16 games now.
Yeah,
right?
and all of them are new releases from Essen Spiel.
Because we played every game from Essen Spiel.
Well, there's enough for every new game, because they release like thousands, right? So
that's a good few months, right? Worth of podcast material.
So anyway, this is a new format. We're going to talk about 16 games we played at Essen Spiel, and we're going to rank them from worst to best.
Yes. Welcome to the Talk Hubble podcast, a podcast about board games and everything adjacent, with me, Elaine, and you.
Me, Efka. Video Efka.
Video Efka and Video Elaine. I've tried to brush my hair. It's still not great, I know. It does what it pleases. On this episode, we will be talking about 16 games that we played at Essen Spiel.
This is a little bit unusual, because what we're doing is we're effectively doing a joint episode that is both video and audio. So if you want to watch the no pun included version of this podcast episode, well, you're probably watching it right now. And if you want to listen to the Talk Cardboard version of this episode, which is our podcast, you're probably listening to it right now, because they're both the same thing. They just exist on two different platforms.
Like the multi-universe thing, is that
exactly,
right?
Yeah. So see, the video viewers did not hear the cold open. So they will not know about the multiverse winning every game thing, that I rambled on for no reason whatsoever. I also imagine for those of you who watch us normally on video, this is a little bit rambly in comparison to our normal videos. That's because this is entirely unscripted, and it's going to be long. So, sit down, pour yourself a glass of whatever, and just
Iron brew.
If you want to. Mezzomix, right?
Lift.
That's Lift, Radler, any German drink that you prefer. But basically, we're going to talk about 16 board games that were released at Essen Spiel. Couple of caveats. Caveat number one: these are games we have all of them we have acquired ourselves. These are not review copies. We went to the convention floor. We paid cold, hard cash for all of them. And also...
Well, sometimes by card as well.
Yeah.
Not always by cash.
Or sometimes pre-order on the website. But don't ruin the romance of this, But yeah, we paid money for these. And also, we have played all of these games. This is not just like us rambling about like opinions of the rule books we've read or the promotional material we saw. We have, not at the demo booth, not at a publisher. We have gone to our hotel, or we got back home after Essen Spiel. We have played all of these games with the exception of one, and that one why we haven't played a full game, that will become apparent very, very soon.
So we're not going to be talking about Arshmallow.
Arshmallows,
No, the
most advertised board game in Essen Spiel.
What size was that poster? Like, not A0, like triple A0, whatever.
Yeah, it was huge. Huge. If you're not familiar with Arshmallows, this is a game we have not played. No. It is a game about marshmallows with butts.
They've got little cracks. Talking of bottoms...
This is a game called Night Soil, and it is exactly what you think it is about. So I think that Essen Spiel has a long-lasting tradition of always having at least one game that is poo-themed.
What was it last year?
Arshmallows.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah. But you know, do you remember Who Soiled the Toilet?
Yes.
The board game that was actually...
Old, though.
Yeah, it was shaped old. Like a toilet, you know? So this is kind of like that, but the sophisticated version of that. This is taking poo seriously. And also not simultaneously, because it's like very tongue-in-cheek. This is a game about poo, but this is like the Eurogame version of the game about poo, where you are trying to manage London's sanitation system as...
I mean, lack of.
Well, yeah, basically. But the idea is that you basically work as competing sanitation companies.
It's just people.
It was just people, yeah.
With carts and shovels.
Yeah, well, no, like because you exert political influence, like you can have alliances with the brewery or City Watch, right? So
I guess you can.
It is like a little bit company based. It's effectively a sort of an area control, but also worker placement game that happens in two phases. In phase one, you will send your workers to go to various action slots and do the actions that are there. You're not quite blocking the space for other players, but your workers do leave poop. And each area has a limit of poop that it can have. So if the area has reached its poop limit, then you can't send the worker into that area anymore. Big problem. But then after all of that is done, you go into this night phase where you play these cards, which are really lovingly illustrated. I think actually the artwork in this game is fantastic. Yeah. In the night phase, you're going to go and sort of move these poop cubes about the map in the hopes of cleaning up certain areas or even getting poop out into the Thames, which counts as you having cleaned it up. And then you get to keep the poop cubes for yourself. I'm being very serious. And those poop cubes are victory points. They convert into victory points at a different ratio based on what round it is. This is effectively the game. I am not going to say much more about this, but why is it at the bottom of our list?
Because we didn't manage to finish the game. It was not the game's fault. We had a long day, and it's not a very difficult game, but at that point in the evening, it was too much for our tiny brains to handle.
We just didn't cope. This is the casualty of Essen Spiel, is Night Soil. It looks very interesting. I'm very compelled to play more of it, but so far this is a DNF, as in we did not finish, so it's not really ranked. It's not within our list. We're intrigued and compelled by it because it looks good, but whether it is good or isn't, we can't really comment because we haven't played a full game of it. Sorry.
The game at the bottom of our list. Can you make? I was going to say, can you make like a sad trombone sound for me? Yeah, like that. Thank you. Is Bouba Kiki?
What a shame.
We both played. And Efka, are you aware of the concept of what Bouba Kiki is? Not the game, but in the real world.
So I have a two-pronged answer.
Go on.
I am aware because you have already explained it to me personally. But for the benefit of the viewers and the listeners, I know that you will have to explain it again. And I can even pretend like I don't know what it is. Like, for example, no, Elaine, I've never heard of Bouba Kiki. What is it?
Wow. And you studied linguistics. What a shock. So Bouba Kiki, you know the cloud shape, like a little shape of a cloud.
I've seen clouds.
Shape of a cloud,
yes.
Right? Yeah, the sort of cartoon shape of a cloud.
Yeah.
And you know the kind of pow, spiky type
Read
cloud.
a comic book in my life, yep.
So the concept of Bouba Kiki in the real world is that anyone with a b or a k sound in their language will identify the cloud shape as Bouba and the spiky shape as Kiki, because that's how our brains work. We assign like onomatopoeia type sounds. Words are easier to remember if they're sort of onomatopoeic.
Elaine, I have some abstract artwork on these cards that the viewers can't see, and I'm not going to show it to them, right? But I'm going to show it to you.
Yeah.
And I can tell you for certain that I also associate this shape with Bouba. And you know why. It's inappropriate to show more.
Naughty.
It is a little naughty, isn't it?
Is why, yes.
Also, I am a child, so, there is that.
Yeah, I understand why you would say that. And in fact, when we played this, there was one word that it was like moo-moo, right? And everyone knew what that word was.
Everyone knew what moo-moo was, right?
We knew what the shape and the word moo-moo went together was, right? Because it just made sense. So you have 4 words in front of you. It's a cooperative game. You have 4 words in front of you. One person picks one of their cards with a picture on, like you just did, with the naughty shape on it. And you choose one of the words that you think it goes with best. And you put one of your little tokens, 1, 2, 3, 4 token, on that, but it's secret. And then everyone else around the table has to try and work out what you have decided is that word in that picture.
Let's see whether this works. So I associate it with this word, right? I'm not going to say which one it is. Which one do you think it is?
What, that sun shape?
That sun shape.
Okay, I think you are saying this is Nyana.
No, I thought it was Taki Ikat.
Okay.
And I have no reason as to why.
So
I just think that, right?
I think that may be why this game didn't work as well as we'd hoped.
It sounds like a great concept, right?
I was really looking forward to this because I was hoping it was going to be another kind of, not exactly like Gibberers or whatever, but one of those kind of language building where you're connecting with other people, figuring out things together. And I think just some of the pictures, they're like paper clips or pitchforks, or some of them are a bit more random. This one looks a bit like a game controller.
Yeah, like a Nintendo game controller specifically.
Yeah, right? And it kind of became a little bit more what you thought the word looked, what you thought the picture looked like.
Yeah.
Not what you...
But there's never a good reason. It's like, you can't explain Bouba Kiki. Everyone thinks this is Bouba. Everyone thinks this is Kiki, right? Yeah. We don't have to have a reason for why. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
So the game clicks when everyone gets it.
Yeah.
When it's like this one word like moo and everyone's, it's that, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely that. But any other time, this game is not fun because you can never really explain why you chose the number you chose. It just felt right. And that's every answer to every conundrum. So there are games like Just One that are working on a very similar framework. This is like, oh, why did you choose that? It's obviously this. And it's like, in those moments you can discuss them because they're games that are based on actual language, right? Like clues that you sort of give and don't give, and here it's just like,
or even picture association games.
Exactly, right? Yeah. Here it's just like, it's that. Okay,
because I think it is. It didn't work quite as well as I'd hoped, so that is why it's on the bottom of our list.
All I know is that next on this list we have Nocturnis, but I've not actually played this game. You are the only person who's played this game. Maybe in the world.
Wow. Efka, do you know about night butterflies?
Is that what Nocturnis means? A night butterfly?
Well, no, but like moths are like night butterflies.
Oh, right, okay. Because when you said night butterflies, I thought this was going into a direction that's going to demonetize us on YouTube or something like that.
Well, I mean, maybe it's a word for something else. I don't know.
I don't know.
But no, like moths. Really,
moths, okay. We're talking about moths.
So this is a flip and write game. This is the next game on our list because it's a smart game. I liked it, right? But it is a flip and write, but you have to look at your board
Sorry, when you say, but it is a flip and right, that sounded like a, but it's that genre, so no good.
That's not what I meant. I'm going somewhere with this. You have to look at your board to cross bits out, and you're looking for shapes on your board, and that you can cross out, and that will get you the points. And the thing is, because it's a flip and right, everyone is waiting for everyone else to have their turn, right? Everyone is simultaneously colouring bits in and trying to find things. And you're going to be waiting for people to
until they finish. Because it's a thinky game?
It's not massively thinky, but so it works in 2 stages. So you flip over shapes on the cards, right? And then you have to draw those on your little board. And when all the butterflies have a series of shapes on them, of different symbols on them. And when you have those symbols in a shape all together, you can have other symbols in it too, that's fine. But when you have those symbols in a particular shape, you can cross it out again, and that's what gets you the points. So you don't have to do that simultaneously. It's not like you draw the shape and then cross it out. You can do that further down the line. So you're continually looking at your board to see, or your sheet of paper, to see if you've made any of those symbol shapes.
So it's a flip and right, but it's slow is what you're saying.
I think it would be quite slow. So I played it solo, right? I just played it on my own, and I had a nice time. It was in the morning before we went for breakfast, I think, during Spiel. And I thought it was lovely. It's very, very charming. The art is beautiful, and I think they are all real moths. Which, is very pleasing.
Maybe not that purple, because the purple and teal is dominating here.
Probably not, but I think they are all types of... that's just the art direction. I think they're all types of real moth. So I thought that was really, really neat. But... And all the cards give you little extra powers.
So you had a nice time, you just wouldn't bring this out?
I think this would be really slow, especially if you were playing it with a higher player count. I think you'd be waiting for people to be searching for the right, shapes to cross out and get their points. And I think there is a potential to miss the shapes too, and to be confused when you colour them in.
Sure.
Because you have to sort of draw the shape and then colour it.
Yeah, I get it. It's messy, isn't it?
I think so. But I had a nice time playing it solo, but it's at the bottom, towards the bottom of the list, because I think it would be very slow if you played it at a higher player count.
I'd say this is the first game on this list where I feel like somewhat positive about it.
Okay.
So this is from Freedom and Freeze, your friend and ours. He's not really our friend. We don't really... I've spoken to him twice for like a sentence. I don't know. It just felt like a nice thing to say. Because Freedom and Freeze seems like a nice person.
Okay.
That's where that came from.
Okay.
And look at this lovingly charming artwork.
On Formidable.
Yeah, so Formidable or Formidable Farm, as is its English title. So Freedom and Freeze is known for games that sometimes go a little bit... in an unexpected direction. They do something different. They do something new. I was very surprised.
Oh, I know what it is. It's the giant tomatoes.
What?
The giant tomatoes, or the tiny pigs.
What are we talking about?
You said it goes in a weird direction.
Right. No, this is... you didn't let me finish.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The thing about this... is that this is a Freedom and Freeze game that doesn't really go in a different direction.
What?
It's just very standard.
That's the twist.
That's the twist. It's just very mundane, average, middle of the road kind of thing. So you have a deck of cards in front of you, Elaine.
Yeah.
You draw 3 of these cards, right? And your objective is to play all of these cards. If you're the first person to play all of these cards, you win, right?
Right.
On these cards, you have a thing that you need to pay and a thing that you get. So, for example, I pay 3 wheat, I get 1 card. Or I pay 1 pig, I get 2 cucumbers.
Whoa.
Right? So, and the other thing that you also get to, you get to play up to 3 of these cards.
Yeah.
On your turn.
Yeah.
And also you don't have to play the cards you have in your hand. There's also like a tableau of cards that you can just, I'll play one of these and do whatever it says.
What's the shamrock mean?
So any 2 different resources in this case, because it's 2 shamrocks and not equal, right?
I see. Okay.
So, and then you'll get a reward, right? But the point of this is, right, is that all you're doing is you're just converting resources. You also can move your disk and get that thing where you move your disk. So, for example, I can move it onto tomatoes. I'll get 2 tomatoes,
okay.
right? I can now spend these 2 tomatoes. Oh, actually, I didn't want the 2 tomatoes. I'm going to move it on the pig. I'm going to get the pig. And I'm going to play the card that converts my pig into 2 cucumbers.
What? I really like the knobbliness of the cucumbers, by the way.
Can I do anything else? No, because my other card needs sheep and free
and
weeds.
You don't have any sheep.
I don't have any of them, right? So I'm going to have to wait till next round till I can get something done. There's a few other mechanisms, like the cards that you do actually complete, they become a currency that lets you break the rules. Like, for example, go on a spot where someone else is and get the same resource they did. And it's neat. It's nice. There's nothing about this game that is wrong or like bad design. It's quick.
It looks cute.
Easy to explain. It's cute. It's elegant. It's also nothing special, right? If you enjoy resource conversion, you're probably going to have a nice time just playing some cards and converting resources and mostly not interacting with other players. You're just all doing your thing.
I enjoy not interacting with other players.
Right, yeah.
Great.
You're just all doing your thing, playing your cards, getting your things, converting your things, playing your cards again, and so on. None of it blew me away. None of it made me think, wow, this is terrible. It was just fine. It was nice. I liked it. I expected something a bit more chewy from Freedom and Freeze, not necessarily in terms of complexity, but in terms of, oh, this is doing something unexpected, and this just wasn't. One of the highest games on the post-Essen hotness list is Tax the Rich, but it is only number 12 on No Pun Included's list. This is a trick-taking game. If you're not familiar with trick-taking games, I will not explain trick-taking games in this video, but I will redirect you to our video of The Crew, which I think explains trick-taking pretty well. There's a whole segment at the beginning where we go over what a trick-taking game is. It's basically a card game. It's basically bridge if you played bridge. It's basically hearts if you played hearts, and so on, etc. Tax the Rich is one of them. It's one of the 4 trick-taking games on this entire list, and in our opinion, it's not bad. It's not bad,
It's
right?
all right.
It's all right. It's good, actually, even, but it's just...
You liked it more than me, though.
I did like it a little bit more than you, but it's still... I played 3 of the 4 trick-taking games on this list, and I liked it the least out of all of them. So this is nice. I liked the idea. Obviously, the title is compelling, Tax the Rich. I don't think it executes its idea that well, and it's mostly mechanically compelling rather than it is physically compelling.
Yeah, the twist is that you end up teaming up kind of with someone.
For those watching at home on YouTube, we actually have like
you could be on the bus.
Well, you could be at the bus. We have a little visual aid because the box comes off and it becomes a board where you are bidding. So you're bidding for who's going to be supreme leader, and you like at the beginning of every round before you play tricks, you have to either move this crown token to the left or you have to move it up. And whatever. If you're the last person to basically make a bid, you're saying you're going to win that many tricks. So if my crown I move the crown to 7 blue, then it's going to be like, I'm going to bid that I'm going to win 7 tricks. But
you don't have to include blue in those tricks.
No, but blue is then trump.
Blue is then trump.
It determines what suit is trump. And then after I win the bid, I get to call out any one card in the game. And the owner of that card pipes up.
Say 10 blue.
10 blue.
That's me. I've got that card.
Right. And then we're in a team. Hooray. And the other people are sort of also in a team. The reason we're in a team is that if we win 7 tricks communally, we'll then get 6 points in this particular instance. But if we don't, then the other players will get 6 points. So it's kind of like our goal to meet that target together. I think nothing in the rules prevents also to call out a card that you have in your own hand, thus saying to everyone, screw you, I will do this by myself and I will win all the points.
But part of this game is that you are in a team.
Well, it can be. You can absolve yourself of a team. I don't know.
Unless you are not playing at 4. I think if you're playing at three,
then you don't call anyone
Yeah.
out. You're just trying to do it by yourself. After that proceeds a very bog standard trick taking game, with the exception that 12 being the highest card in any suit you can't lead with. And also, if all you have in your hand are ones, twos, and threes once per game, you can say it's the revolution of the classes or whatever it's called. And then all the ones are highest and all the 12s are lowest from then on. And you can do it whenever. You can do it in the middle of the trick. So, for example, if I had an 11, a 1, and a 3, and I played the 11 to the trick, and then all I have is a 1 and a 3, I can say it's a class revolution. And then suddenly
I played a 1. Now that's nice.
Why did I do that? That was the worst move, but it's fine.
Because we're in a team.
Yay!
It doesn't matter.
That's the game, right? So I thought it was cute.
Can I just say I'm having more fun doing it now than I did when we played it, though.
Okay.
So
Well, that says something. Yeah.
I know. Well, I told you I didn't enjoy it that much.
There are variants that we haven't played with. We played with the feminist variant, where it also makes, if you have only 4s, 5s, and 6s, I think, then you also like reveal them, but they're all worth like plus 10. All the women in the game or female presenting characters in the game.
No, the feminist characters, because there are some female presenting characters that don't have the feminist symbol.
No, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. They don't have to have the feminist. It's just if you have the cards with the feminist symbol, that's when you can call the feminist revolution. But then any female presenting characters will get plus 10 to their value. Right?
All
That's the trick. And you can only have one type of revolution per game. So there are some variants. There are like extra rules that you can tack on in this game. I felt like this was broadly fun and good, but the simple answer is I've played better trick-taking games this Essen Spiel.
Yeah, me too. I want to say, if you are watching at home and you're worried that there is red and green in this, they are double-coded too. So all the green cards have like a rectangle on them, and the red cards have a like money bags symbol on them. So you can differentiate them that way too.
And it's also not entirely red. It's like orange. I don't know if that makes a difference. Sure. So yeah, it was fine. It was okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you look at this cool bird, fella?
I wanna be friends with this bird. He has an hourglass, and he's made out of night.
He is made out of night. He has the moon for his eye.
How many friends do you have that are made out of night?
One.
Oh, you're all right. I don't think you're cool enough, Elaine.
Oh, why?
Well,
I want to be friends with the Echoes of Time bird too. He looks nice. He looks like he will take you into sweet dreams.
Do you think the bird is as nice as this game?
I think the bird is nicer than this game.
Which is why the game is at number 11.
Yeah.
Look, okay, so I think this is pretty low actually for Echoes of Time. I broadly like this game, right? But it does skirt into very familiar territory once again, which, for us, we're looking for something new and interesting and exciting. And this was maybe not that. Having said that, it felt pretty solid and interesting as a game. I think it has suffered in our one play of it of wrong player count and wrong environment.
Yeah, possibly.
I think this is broadly a 2-player game. We played it as a 4-player game. So the turns took a very long time to come back to us. And also, we've played Res Arcana, which this is so incredibly similar to. So this is from Roberto Pelle and Simone Luciani. I think many people will recognize definitely Simone Luciani as a designer who's worked on many different games, and some of them quite popular. This broadly didn't feel like a Simone Luciani game.
Not necessarily, yeah.
Because those are more like crunchier Euros, and this is sort of a card game where you're playing cards to create combos from various effects, and then those combos will create more combos and combos.
And you're moving through time.
Well, that's the kind of gimmick of this game, is that when you play these cards, they have a time slot that they go into. So, for example, if I was to play this beaver called Big Shot, the beaver called Big Shot is going to cost me 3 cards from my hand. So the resources, cards in your hand.
That I liked about this. Yeah.
Many games
Yeah.
do this, but it felt familiar, like Race to the Galaxy kind of situation. But it also goes in the time slot. So it goes into slot number 4, which means for 4 turns, this ain't doing anything, right? But there are different actions you can do in this game. So one of the things that you can do is you can play a card to a time slot paying its cost. Another one is you can move cards on these time slots further along in the time, right? But then eventually, during the start of your next turn, you will actually slot this into your player board. There we go. And so it will move further along in time as your turns progress. And when it eventually does come off your player board, then it's voila, it resolves and does things. Voila, exactly. Yes. The other cool thing about this game is that there's this mechanism of which of these cardboard slabs that move around your time board is off the time board, because they all have different symbols, and different cards that you play refer sometimes to these symbols. So in the round where this symbol is off your time board, that's when those effects are active. So you kind of want to time them in such a way where they come out at just the right time so they can do something cool. It's a nifty little mechanism, and I enjoyed mucking around with it. It was just so very long at 4 players. It was a long game. I didn't quite get the sense of, I understood the game. I knew exactly what I was doing, but I didn't quite understand how it related to the theme of the game. Like why some time fell off and then those powers activated, or why when the card fell off with the time, then you got that card. Like, it was quite weird. I don't like animals in clothes. It's full of animals in clothes. But I do like the Custodian of Secrets, which is like a little squirrel wearing some spectacles. That's cute. Is that a squirrel or a gerbil?
Or a, what's that thing called? Like a groundhog?
Yeah, it looks maybe like a groundhog a little bit.
Something like that. Anyway, it's very cute. Or maybe a guinea pig. I don't know.
I mean, it's nice. I think you're right in that this game is incredibly abstract. You know, the setting really does not inform the game in any way, apart from the fact that the setting itself is quite abstract and big picture. There's not a cohesive sense to what any of this is. It just is.
It just is, yeah. There's things that you are doing because you are doing them, because the game tells you to do that. And I didn't mind that, really. There were lots of bits of it that I did like. That on your turn you have different options, like whether you're going to play a card, whether you're going to move time along, whether you're going to try and I don't remember what these were called, but there are big cards that you try and sort of build up to get points from, and they also have special abilities on them. So I quite like that. There were lots of things I did like, but it felt very disjointed because everyone's playing their own little boards and doing all different things. But you can also, the big cards, you can kind of steal them from other players. So
you need to invest a certain number of strength of your own cards and lose them from your tableau to actually tuck them under these. And these are not only big points prizes, big effects, but also one of the game-ending conditions. So you kind of want to work towards them. But yes, you can then outshine another player by committing more to that card in terms of strength than others did, and therefore steal it from them. That is the only point of interaction, right?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, some cards... No, well, it's not true. There are some cards that do kind of...
like negative things for other players.
Yeah, but they felt very like abstract in that sense, where they didn't feel like as cohesive as they did in Race for the Galaxy or something like that, where it's like, oh, okay, I understand that these cards exist, so that's something I need to work around. Some of them did, where it's like, oh, you have effects that make us discard cards. We need to be aware of that, right? And some of them just felt kind of like, oh, and I also do this to you. And it's like, oh, okay. You know, right, sure. So some of it was good, and some of it, like, at the same time made me want for more interaction between players. And at other times made me want for less interaction between players.
Yeah, do you mean like you want more discussion interaction rather than just things happening to you or things happening to the other players because of something you've done?
I think because this board is so involved.
Yeah.
there's a lot of things happening on this board. You have to account for a lot of different effects and like managing this whole time situation. You do not have the brain space to watch what another player is doing.
Sure.
And so when they do something that affects you, you're suddenly like, oh, yeah, I should have probably been paying attention to that, but not in a way that made me like actually want to pay attention because I was already overloaded with what was happening here. I just wanted to kind of like, for the game to not be like that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think definitely I want to give this another try because the cards, there are quite a lot of cards in this and they all do different things and they all interact with each other in different ways. They've got like symbols on them. Like each card has different symbols on it that act differently depending on what other cards you've played. The abilities when your slat falls off are all different on different cards. So I think I didn't play this particularly well. Like
neither did I.
I couldn't keep up with what was happening. And so I do want to give this another try, but I wasn't overwhelmed by it. Like I wasn't enamored by it.
I feel like there are games like this already, like Race for the Galaxy and Res Arcana, that maybe aren't like as involved as this. And when I say it's not that it's more involved, it's just that there's way more effects, but they get to the core of this idea quicker and in a more satisfying way. Whereas this felt more like, not only have I seen this already, but I'm not sure that this is the best version of this that is out there. Have no fear. Elaine is here to tell us about Furchtlos, or its English title,
Fearless.
Well done, Efka. You've pronounced that German word entirely correctly.
I'm sure you did. Efka, have you ever heard of a trick taker?
No, what is that?
It's a type of card game. This particular trick taker card game is a spooky one.
Wow. Elaine, I will drop the coiners and tell you that not only have I heard of trick-taking games, not only have I heard of spooky trick-taking games, but I know that this isn't even the only ghost-themed trick-taking game in this episode.
Is it not?
Of No Pun Included / Still Cardboard.
What? That's bonkers, Efka. This is the only one by Freedom and Freeze, though.
That's true. That's true.
It's not the only game by Freedom and Freeze on this list, but it is the only spooky one.
Talked about Formidable.
I know, but there's like a Venn diagram thing going on here.
Something happening here. Yeah, definitely.
This is a very small box trick taker. Which
I can see that.
Immediately pleased me. About sending your ghost from the spooky house onto the safe path. And you are doing that by playing tricks and winning. When you win a trick, you add up. So there are some cards that are plus.
I can see that. Whatever. Yeah. So I've not played this game, Elaine, and I can already see there's like suits but also plus values, and then you look further. A negative value. Wow.
There is a negative value. Yeah.
What does that do?
It's the negative value. Yeah. It minuses it out. So it's a normal must follow trick taker, right? But when you win a trick, you add up everything that was in that trick. So in this example, I've got a +4, a -4, and a +2. So that's just +2. And then you will move your little ghosty from the spooky house, that number up or down, depending on how many it is. The idea is that you want to stay as close to 0 as possible.
I understand.
Because for some reason, the little ghosties do not want to go too far, either way, into the spooky woods, into the terrifying
woods. They want to be in the spooky No, they don't want to be in the
They don't want to be in the spooky house.
I know this, because the spooky house, I saw this, it has a 15 on it. And that's like being on Space 15?
Effectively,
See, I'm smart. I know games.
Which incentivizes you to win at least one trick so that you're not staying on this 15.
But you don't want to win too many tricks because you don't want to steer too far away from the thing, or you want to win tricks with such a value
to balance it out. Exactly. It doesn't really matter how many you win. You just don't want to go too far one way or the other. I don't understand why ghosts don't want to go into a spooky wood. Surely that's their...
Does the person with the highest value win the trick?
Yes.
So that naturally
Yes.
makes it hard because, like, if I want to win the trick, like, and there's a +3 in it, and I only have a +5, that's like +8 already.
Yeah.
Is this trick actually good for me or not?
Yes. Exactly. So,
Mm.
sorry, it took my brain a second to understand what you meant then when you said just the highest value in the trick. Yes.
You know, like the standard trick taking rules. Yeah.
So this game, I enjoyed it. We had fun. I'm not sure we played it in the ideal environment.
Okay.
We played it as a 3-player. I think we all had fun doing it, but it was very late towards the end of the evening. It was, we'd had a busy day, and I think it was pretty good for that. But there were a lot of distractions going on. People were interrupting other people to like, can I just talk to you for a second type things. So I'm not sure it was the ideal environment, but I had fun. The reason that it's this far down on the list is just because I don't think it did anything particularly special.
That's twice in a row for Freedom and Freeze. The guy who's known for doing something special. And there's just...
Well,
it feels like I get what you mean. Like there's a twist. Yeah, you some tricks are good for you, some tricks are bad for you, but it doesn't veer too far away from the trick-taking formula.
no.
It feels pretty run-of-the-mill. Would that be a fair assessment?
I think
Yeah,
so.
okay.
But it would be easy to teach. I think more than the other ghost trick taker that we have on this list, but it's not as different as the other one.
And the ghosties are cute.
The ghosties are very cute. I noticed there's a whole pile of deck cards in front of me. I don't know why we've set this game up with them in front of me.
I just felt like you would have an affinity towards them based on what happened in our last game of
Why on earth would you think that?
driest title ever, National Economy.
Well,
because you took the entire deck
and then
of dead
I had
cards.
to get my notepad and pen out and make more because they're not supposed to be limited, and I needed more than 15 -3 cards.
Yeah,
I had a bad start.
Good game you played there, Elaine. Good game for sure. So this is National Economy, which on the surface, a tableau builder, right? Like as in very much like in Echoes of Time,
Yeah.
you have cards in your hand and you can play them in front of you. How much does a card cost? It costs in other cards. So that was not words, but you know what I mean. So for example, if this card costs 4 cards, that means if I want to play it, I have to discard 4 cards from my hand. It's simple as, right? But then what happens? This curious, interesting thing happens. This is also a worker placement game. And you can place these workers on the cards here or on the cards you played in front of you, and then you'll be able to do the thing that the card says. Cards here, no one else but you can play your workers here. However, here, if I place this worker here, which lets me draw a building card and then be the start player for the next round.
That's important.
That's very important, right? So I would be, hey, new card, and then, hey, I'm going to be first player, and no one else can go there. That's it. That space is blocked for other people. But then a fun thing happens at the end of the round. What is that thing, Elaine?
We have to pay our workers, Efka.
That doesn't sound that unusual.
No, because you start with 2. But what is normally a good thing to do when there are extra workers that are available to acquire in a game, what is generally a good thing to do in a game is to get those workers fairly early, because then you've got them for the rest of the game to use and get extra action.
And they only cost $2, right? to pay for.
Oh, initially, yeah.
Yeah, initially,
They
right?
cost
What's
$2?
$2? How much is a banana?
How much?
Right.
Yeah, $10. Yeah, yeah, you're right. However, for every $1 that you cannot pay your worker, you have to take a -3 card.
Well, there's a little caveat there as well, that like if you have a card in front of you that you've played and it has a monetary value and you need to pay your workers and you can't, first you get to sell that card. So you will get, like, this card will get me 18 money. That's a lot of workers paid for. And I will get that 18 money, but I will lose the card and lose the 18 points that it's worth at the end of the game. But then that card goes into the center tableau.
And now anyone can use that action.
So you haven't really lost it if you think about it. You just lost a whole bunch of points.
But do you know what else I did? My other downfall was that, so the cards that I had, also in a game when there's kind of a set collection-y type mechanism, where it says like for every this type of card you have, you get extra points.
Sure.
I was like, oh, sweet. So I tried to gather up.
I never saw anything like that in this game.
That's because I had them all.
Okay.
I tried to gather up these types of cards, right? But all of those cards you could not sell, which meant I could not sell them to pay my workers.
Right.
So that
-3, -3, -3, -3.
But I ended the game with 3 points, plus points, despite having 15 -3 cards and then minus a bunch of other points. So
we're forgetting to mention one pretty key mechanism.
Is it the money?
It's the money, right? So we just put all the money for display here in this trough, but actually that's not how it works in the game.
No.
There's a very limited amount of money in the trough, and the first piggy to snuffle it all up basically just gets it, and everyone else goes, what do I pay my workers with?
And the thing is, it's like if there's 10 left and you need,
the action says take 12.
You're right. You can't take anything.
Because you have to fulfill the action. Yeah. It's so painful.
So you get nothing.
This game feels like walking into a bear trap on purpose, right? And then you have to chew your own leg off. That is effectively how national economy feels. But
in a fun way.
In a fun way. This is only number 9 because I got the sense at the table that people were like, like this is conceptually, this is, fun, but within this, there isn't anything that feels like particularly super exciting to do. It's just kind of watching everyone sink. In quicksand.
Yeah. And it's a little rote. Like, what can you do? You can build a building, hire a worker, build a building, hire a worker. That's kind of, I mean, it's like an economy.
Yeah. And some buildings synergize. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was trying to do, you see, synergize the buildings.
Did it work out?
No, obviously it didn't. Yeah. No, I've already said this. What I did like about this was you have this like little card in front of you that tells you which card. So a new card will come out each round, a new action card will come out each round, and you have the card in front of you that tells you what they're going to be, so it's not a secret, it's not random, so you can kind of plan for like, oh well, okay, this is going to come out in a couple of rounds, maybe I can do something with this. I like that. But most of those are kind of getting more stuff, getting more money.
I will say that this game has a lot of potential going up in our rankings as we play more of it, because this is a repackaging of 3 different games that are called National Economy. And so this is we played the first version, which is Progress. Then you have Mecenat, whatever that means. And then you have Glory.
Whatever that means.
I don't know. No. What are these words even, right?
I don't know.
So there's kind of like 3 different versions of National Economy all packaged into one bundle that's meant to have cleaned up the rules and stuff. I still say the rule book is not very good. No, it's not good at all. But cleaner apparently than it used to be. So hooray. But conceptually, I think it's exciting. I think I just want to see more of it, and maybe it will go up in our estimation. All right, here come the Euro games. This looks big. Elaine, why do I recognize the name Cedric Millet?
I don't know, Efka. Why do you recognize the name Cedric Millet?
Well, a long time ago, dear viewers and listeners, we have covered a game that is very dear to our hearts, called Meeple Circus, and it is maybe to this day still one of the stupidest games I have ever played. There's even we even did a playthrough of this with Shut Up and Sit Down and Actual, which you can find on Shut Up and Sit Down's channel.
Unless they've taken it down through embarrassment.
I think it's still there. I think it still exists out there in the ether. This is by the same designer, and it is nothing like Meeple Circus. No. It took me forever to read this rulebook and internalize the many rules within this game. In essence, this is a game where you are treasure hunters. You're companies that go and dive in the sea to uncover treasure and maybe sharks. And maybe unalive sharks. Because YouTube. So it's big, it's complex. I don't know how to succinctly explain this. I will say that this is a worker placement game. And so you have workers that you will basically line up in priority. You will place, but you're not blocking the space for everyone. You're just blocking the priority space for everyone. So the closer you play, like the earlier you place it, the sooner you're going to go and take the desirable actions within, like, there's 10 different action slots where you can send workers, and they all have their own individual subsystems. Some of these also cost money. So the sooner you send yours, the less money you're going to pay. But also, there's just so many subsystems. So, for example, you can put your little worker in a boat and then send that boat out into the lagoon. And then if you have the requisite treasure map, you can actually go here and start fishing for treasure, which you can then take to a museum and submit it for points and sell it for money as well.
Yeah, it's its own little economy where you're getting maps to go out, look for treasure. You're getting the equipment to try and dive deeper and deeper for treasure and kill sharks.
And you actually, you have to like physically put on your boat. So for example, I have a metal detector. So if I want to take my boat out into the lagoon where there's like an island where I can just get some random treasures, I have to have a metal detector equipped on my boat. Yeah. If this is physically not here,
you can't do it.
I cannot do it.
You haven't got a metal detector, so how are you going to find anything on the lagoon?
Exactly. And then the treasure spots in the sea themselves, for some of them you need sonar, for some of them you need a drill.
Rock diggy thing.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, a drill.
There's workers that let you get bonuses.
Right, and why do some of the workers have funny shaped heads, Efka?
Well, if I send one of my, this is called my boss, right? And the boss knows everything, basically. The boss like just literally knows the job better than anyone else. Yeah. But if you send another worker to the same space,
when the boss is there, they will do training.
There is a hat available. You will get to put the hat physically onto the little guy. And this actually comes on pretty nicely. I don't know why I'm failing it, but the hat has a number. So this number says this acts like a boss, but only in this particular action space. So
where they're wearing the hat because they've been trained. They're smart. They're wearing a mortarboard. They're clearly, graduated from that. Whatever it is. This
is very involved. This is involved to the point where, like, so you know how in a game you get money and then that money is a resource and you can spend the money on things that you want to do. Yeah. And not so here. That would be way too simple for Thesauros. So here you have 5 different bank accounts. So this is HR. This is like... I don't know what this is called. Like your technology area this is like general stuff, and this is the mission expenses. Yeah. So they're all responsible for paying for the different action slots. So you have to estimate, I need to pay my workers, so I need at least that much money in HR. Also, just like in national economy, you can hire more workers that you will then also need to pay for at the end of the round, and but
it's not quite so punishing.
It's not quite that punishing.
That's national economy.
It just makes you kind of pre-calculate.
There is budget management,
yeah. And then finally there's even a slush fund, and the slush fund is like this secret space where if you put money in the slush fund, that cannot be taken in or out anymore. You can transfer money between the different accounts, but each time you make a transfer, so for example, I want to transfer free money from here into here, that's fine, but that costs me X dollars equal to what year it is. There's 3 years in the game, right? So I just wasted $1 basically because
you didn't budget well.
I didn't budget well.
You didn't allocate the funds well.
No. I mean, okay, so I really wanted to like Thesauros. When I read the rulebook, I was so jazzed for playing this. I was like, there's a lot of cool things going on. There's like, you get technologies, you get to put them in your little boat, and then maybe you get to buy more boats, etc., etc.
I sense a butt coming here.
Yeah, so these are not puns that I make willingly, right? But this is a very shallow, wide pool. Where there's a lot going on, but each mechanism, it's not particularly deep. There is a lot of nuance in terms of estimating who do you think is going to go where. So this is a game that is asking you to watch what other players are doing. And I like that a lot. But I think that's about where the depth and complexity actually ends. And it does make you do a lot of work. So, for example, this mechanism of having 5 different bank accounts, I think it's, as much as I kind of love that nitty grittiness in games where it is employing rules for simulationist reasons, this rule does nothing for me.
Oh, really?
Right, yeah. Because I think that once you play this game 3 or 4 times, you will know exactly how much money to put in everywhere.
It won't be a puzzle anymore.
No, and the only tension is like just how much money you actually putting into the slush fund, because that's the tension of bidding for first place. Yeah. And this is also a bid, right? Where like at the end of the round, you will all like take out an X amount of money from here secretly, reveal it simultaneously, and then whoever bid most, gets to go first in turn order.
Yeah,
that's kind of where this money management puzzle becomes interesting for me. The rest
just with the slush fund.
Just with the slush fund.
Because being first as well is good because it gives you extra points and it gives you more freedom of where you're going.
Exactly. Right? Being first is always an advantage in this game. So that was interesting. This did not feel interesting. This felt like I will roughly know how much money I will need, especially if I play this game at least once. And then, you kind of accounted poorly. Okay, it's going to cost you $1, maybe $2 to fix your mistake, or maybe not, and it's fine.
Do you think
mostly.
It would be better with more players? Because we only played it at 2.
I think there's definitely, this game shines with more players, but I will say that as much as I was enjoying this sort of very big elaboration that Thesauros offers, for me where it really fell down was round 3, where it became like, we have stuff, we need to turn it into points.
How do we do that best?
To take them to the museum, or find other avenues where we can just
eke out the most
chuck
points
money
as possible.
away, to convert it into points. And it became very rote, very uninteresting, and long as well.
Yeah, we kind of did want it to end. But towards the end of the 3rd round, we both were like, "Oh, come on!"
It was not exciting.
It wasn't making interesting decisions anymore. It was just doing things for things' sake to try and get extra points out of them. Yeah, no, I agree with that. But I don't know if that was just our experiences of the game. So it could have been. I don't know if I agree with you about you'll know exactly how much money you need, because it all depends on how much you've made on various different things, like which hats you've taken, because your boss worker will give you discounts and your hat workers will give you discounts.
Yeah, I was factoring all of that in when I was doing my budgeting. Yeah. And that's why it took time. You're just sitting there going, right, I need to sort of math as much out as I can, take into account whether I'm first player or not, where I am in turn order, how much are these things going to cost me, which spots am I likely going to be able to inhabit, and you go boom, 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 boom. It was fine. Like, I think maybe I'm doing this mechanism a disservice. I just didn't jazz me. It felt like this was an unnecessary complication that took up a lot of time, that didn't add anything particularly crunchy to the gameplay.
We did have quite a funny time with it, though. I think it was quite amusing, like the story that it was telling as we were playing it. Because like you said, when you want to dive down, you need certain equipment. But there was one of my boats had nothing on it, right, except a spear gun. It had no equipment to dive any further down. And I was like, do I need anything for this? Can I do this in my pants? Because the pants, it's literally on the board. Like, it's a symbol that is pants.
You can dive in your pants.
You can dive in your pants, and you can kill sharks in your pants, which you eat. By the way, that kind of, I didn't mind that as much, because you're not just doing it gratuitously. The board shows you sort of cutting them up to eat, which I think isn't quite as bad. I don't know. It's still bad, but I don't know. Anyway, but maybe that's all the food that there is in this place. I don't know.
Wow, I feel sorry for them, because shark is not delicious.
Is it not? I don't think I've ever had shark.
I've never had shark, but I hear that it's not good.
It's like hippo. Apparently that's really revolting.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't know.
Anyway, but so it did kind of tell a funny story as we were going through, and what equipment we had. going metal detecting, taking photos. Oh, like, okay, I'm just going to have to take photos this time because I've got nothing on this boat. Coming back, going out, I don't know.
It was enjoyable.
I'm going to get the biplane. And the biplane does actually fit the little equipment tokens in it quite sweetly. So, the biplane literally delivers the equipment token to the boat, right? I don't know. I had a nice time with it, but I don't know, like you said, if there is a lot of depth to it.
I would recommend everyone to play of this. I wouldn't necessarily rush out and buy this, but I think that if you sit down and play this, at least for parts of it, you're going to have a pretty good time because the game is amusing in a lot of different ways, but mostly in its elaborate simulationism. What's that smell? Oh, yeah. I think it smells like trick-taking games.
Oh, I see.
Do you like why?
Why does it smell?
Because it's I don't know, because it's a distinct shape, so obviously it smells different. That makes sense, right?
If something's a distinct shape.
Yeah, of course. They have, a particular smell.
Okay, anyway,
this is a trick-taking game. It's called Bitcoin.
Is that about ghosts?
No, it's not. Okay. No, that one's for later. So this is
before.
What do you mean before?
Fearless was about ghosts.
Right, or I see, of course. Yes.
Yes.
So this is at number 7, I want to say.
Sure.
Okay, good.
Let's say
I'm glad we're correct on that. So number 7, we have Bitcoin, which is a little trick-taking game that I quite like. This is the second highest ranked trick-taking game on this list. So there's only one that's better, right? And I think this is pretty good. I think actually the two trick-taking games, they're quite different. Personally, I like this even a little bit more than the one we've ranked higher. But that's because I'm a nut for trick-taking games.
You're a purist.
It's not that no, it's not. I think the other one's even purer as a trick. Well, the other one's a climbing shedding game, actually.
Yeah.
But I think this is more niche appeal, right? This one. Yeah, this one.
Appeal.
Yeah. This appeals to me.
Wait, because of the Bitcoin cryptocurrency.
Oh God, no. The theme definitely knocks it down. Well, it's not explicitly themed as references to cryptocurrency because nothing about this is cryptocurrency.
No, not really.
But it is called Bitcoin, and it does have the coin looks a little bit like the Bitcoin symbol, I think. A little bit.
But you are trying to get rid of them. So
so there is that. You're like, get rid of this cryptocurrency. We don't want it. Okay, so this is a must-follow trick-taking game. It almost doesn't do anything special. There is one trick to it. It's that whenever you win a trick, so let's say there you go. You won this trick, right? Congratulations.
Thanks.
Elaine, you have a trick. What does that mean? It means you have to make a bid of at least one. You could bid higher. You could bid 5 instead of 1.
I'm not.
You're not going to? You're just going to stick with 1? So that means that Elaine is saying that she will win exactly 1 trick at the end of this round. Let's see how that works out. Elaine, you lead the trick. Look, you won another trick. What happens next? Elaine has to increase her bid. But now the bid is free because you can't just undo the card you've bid, right?
Once that's up there, that's it.
It's up there, right? But let's say that at the end of this entire round of playing tricks, right? Let's have you win another trick. Okay, fantastic.
Cool, I'm doing great
right
here.
And then you don't win any more tricks. You won exactly 3 tricks. This is great. What happens to these cards?
They go bye-bye.
You got rid of them. So now the only bidding cards you have left is 3, 5, and 7. And however many tricks you're going to win next round has to be some sort of an addition of those 3 numbers or 2 numbers.
I have to be braver next round.
Or just 1 number.
Maybe I'll just bid 7. straight off the bat next round.
And then what happens if you win 8 tricks? That's bad, right? That means...
Well, then I will have to win 10 tricks.
Right? This is where the conundrum begins happening. There's some neat mechanisms in this that add to that. So, for example, if you win a trick with a 6 or a 4, that counts as you having won 2 tricks. And that messes with the numbers sometimes in great ways and sometimes in absolutely terrible ways. So there's like this element of unpredictability. And of course, you can bid that you were going to win no tricks.
Which you did, and you did it.
I know.
Couldn't believe it.
It was amazing. But the cool part of it is that if you succeed, it's like, great, you shut out cards just like you normally would. But if you fail, you have to take like these extra 1 cards that you then also have to get rid of, which is kind of like, it sounds bad because it's like 2 extra cards you have to get rid of.
But it makes it easier slightly for the rest of the rounds.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, because I've bid 7 and now I've won 8. So, okay, I can just bid a 1. Yeah.
It does clog your like objective effectively, but it isn't the worst. I really like this. This feels like a trick-taking game that doesn't have many extra rules, but the spin it puts on the sort of live bidding as it's going, it feels pretty novel and exciting. Like, I had fun playing this. There was no round of this where I felt like bored or uninterested. It felt like I was playing a familiar, comfortable game, but with a twist that was appealing and made the proceedings lively. How did you feel about it?
Yeah, I like this game. It can be a bit swingy or wonky or whatever we want to call it, because we played a game and it went great, and then I played a game and you weren't playing that game where nobody achieved their goals, like nobody. So when you don't achieve your goals, unless you've said that you're not going to win any tricks, in which case you take the extra ones, everything just comes back. So you start again, and you're like, oh, okay, and it wasn't progressive, you know,
right?
And for some reason, that, I don't know, that took some fun away from it. I don't know if we were all just very tired. I don't think it was necessarily the game's fault. I don't know why we ended up not winning anything. But it was like, oh, well, should we play something else? So I had a lot of fun when the game flowed well. But then when it kind of got stuck, you know, I don't know, it just didn't feel as good.
Yeah, that's a shame. I'm sad to hear that, because I played this like 3 times and each time it was
right. I don't think it would necessarily happen very often. I think we probably were just tired and... Well,
it was like the last day of Spiel, and it was quite late when you were playing this, so not surprising. But I do recommend this. I think it's quite good, aside from its dubious ties to the title being linked to cryptocurrency. That's weird, but whatever. I don't know. There's a lot going on here. I need you to immediately contain all of these ideas presented on the table in a passable form that can be explained in video and or audio. Because I've not played this game.
You've not, no.
And you have.
And I thought it was good.
Nice. I hope it is. It looks big.
Efka, do you know what a Kikai is?
No.
The name of the game. It's one of these little boxes that you will that have pictures on them of junk art sculptures.
Okay.
Because what you are trying to do in
So wait, is Kikai the name of the box or the concept of junk art sculptures?
I think it's this junk art sculptures.
Okay, because it'd be weird if they named if there was a word for a cardboard box depicting a very specific thing.
Actually, they're not cardboard. I had to construct these. There's loads of them, and I had to make them up. This game is a 2-player only game. Look, we can for the people watching, we can barely fit ourselves and the box on the table.
It is huge. This does not look or feel like a 2-player only game.
It is a 2-player only head-to-head. Because you're building heads, you see. Head to body to feet. Of trying to build these Kikai. And encourage...
I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to interrupt you.
Already,
Yes, because you said head to head, and then you said head to body to feet.
Yeah.
That's not correct. It would be head, body, feet to head, body, feet.
Or feet, body, head.
Or feet, body, head to feet, body, head.
That's true, yeah. Okay.
Right? I'm so sorry. It's important. It's important. I threw you, didn't I?
I feel like you did that on purpose.
No.
Yes, you are building these.
Right.
But why are you building these? Because there are fans, Efka. In this town, there are fans of the junk art.
Right.
And they want to come and see your junk art sculptures that you are making. And the only way that you get them to come to see your junk art sculptures that you will be building in car parks and casinos and schools is by creating routes of like advertising on the board, right?
Yeah.
But you want to stop. So you will build these routes, and either player can use those routes. It doesn't matter who built them.
Okay. So this is like a collaborative shared effort on the board. If it's someone
else's route, you must pay them in order to do that. But then they can also hoover up the fans of the junk art to their Kikai.
Right, so do routes become progressively less good because there's less and less fans?
Right, because the fans, yes, but there are ways to kind of mitigate that, because you can hoof fans from different areas rather than just off here, because they will go into these different, like the casino or the parking area, but then you can kind of attract them
from one area to another?
To a different area.
I'm so sorry. Can you pass me this one? Yeah, that one. Yeah, because look at it. It's like a rubber duck head, but it's got a toilet roll on top.
Yeah, because
what is going on here?
You're not only like rag and bone men, but you're also artists, Efka. This is art.
It is incredible. I love these so much already. Mm-hmm. They look completely not functional because they don't look sturdy enough to stand on top of one another.
But they have to.
Yeah.
They have to. When you're building them, they have to. This is not right. But do you know what? This is only in Japanese, where it says head, body, and feet is only.
Right.
It's color coded, fortunately, and you can kind of tell, but sometimes you can't. But yeah, they're not sturdy enough really to stand on top of each other.
You just put the feet on top, the body in the middle, and the head at the bottom.
Well, I'm not playing a legal game, am I?
No.
So, that's what you're doing. You're also trying to appease the master. That's how you will get the points, by attracting the fans and appeasing the master to get the points.
Who's the master?
He's in control of the points board. I don't know. That's how you get the points.
I am bewildered.
It is bewildering. Yeah. We had a lot of fun playing this game.
Okay, two things I know, because I was learning Thesauros as you were playing this with a friend, and I was watching both of you, and two things stood out. One, your scores were wildly different, as in like if you had 20, then the other person had 200 or something like that. Yeah.
We scored it slightly wrongly, but even if we hadn't, I would have still lost horribly.
And talking of the slightly wrongly, there was a lot of, you told me there's errata for the errata? Is that the situation?
There is errata for the errata. Handily, there is an errata sheet in the box, but the errata sheet is still wrong, because the errata sheet has both English and French printed on one side, when it should have, one on one side.
So wait, one sentence is English and then the next one is French?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Oh, that's good. You love to see it.
Not very helpful if you're trying to learn the game in English. I tell you what, the rule book in English
is very good.
Is worse.
Oh no, it's also bad. Okay.
Yeah, it made me want to cry a little bit because the French rule book is better. It has more information in it.
Joy for all of us francophones, right? Merci beaucoup.
But because the English rule book says like after you have done this. And you're like, but you haven't told me to do this. And the French rule book does say, do this, and then after you have done this, da-da-da-da, right?
Right.
So it has some more information in it. But no, the rule book made me want to cry a little bit, honestly.
Wow.
But I did figure it out, and we did figure out the game, and we had a good time.
I look forward to playing this. This looks immense. I'm still not sure I understand quite what it is, but it is very eclectic and intriguing. I wish the podcast listeners could see the artwork. That, like I mentioned, rubber duck head with a toilet roll on top, waving flags. There's a toilet brush. And it's like on this weird wobbly pedestal. It just looks out there.
It is out there. There's a lot going on the board, and I think I've forgotten what it actually says on the what these cards are called, but it's something like really full city plan or something like that. It's something like that.
It also looks very cartoonish. It reminds me of that 90s skateboard aesthetic.
Yeah, and it does take you a minute, or it took me a minute to figure out the different areas, because the different areas are segmented, right? And it does have like a strong line round each area, but because there's so much colour and because there's so much going on the board, it's kind of easy to miss a little bit. And it took me a minute to go, okay, this area here is, you know, the cinema. This area here is the casino.
Are the areas different? Do they have different rules or?
No. But they are important because you have cards, and when you play a card, say I play the parking, that's the area that I can do things in for this time, right? And you don't. The tricky part is that you don't just automatically get loads of cards back. So you're really struggling with, you know. So I really wanted to build things in the casino. So I played the casino. Great, I do things in the casino. I'm not getting more casino cards. Right. And you can play 2 cards for 1. Right? So 2 of them, like 2 identical cards. Yeah. For any area, yeah.
But does that mean you're going to run out of cards?
Right. Because you're not automatically getting cards. And, you know, because when you're building these things, they are quite tall. Right? So some of them, if you're building feet, that's fine. You don't need a ladder to get for the fans to get to the feet. But if you're building anything higher than that, you need a ladder. And getting ladder tokens is pretty hard too. And yeah, I didn't do very well at this because I didn't balance my resources well enough. And I kept not being able to do things. It was fun. There's a lot to balance. There's energy, there's the fans, there's the ladders, there's the cards. There's also these that are placed on the board, these little tokens that are placed on the board.
Is that like points values?
Each area. They are minus points values. So if you don't build in every place on this board, in every area, you will get some sort of minus points.
Wow. Okay. Novel.
Yeah.
No, I meant it. Like, it's like, you know, normally board games encourage you because you're going to get something. Here it's like the whip, right?
Yeah, it is a little bit like that. But you get lots of points for other things, or you should do.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we had a good time. I am looking forward to playing this again with you and seeing what you think of it.
Elaine, act number 5. This is Tag Team, which is from the makers of Sky Team. Obviously, a cooperative game about landing a tag safely.
A tag?
Yes.
Okay. Is that like a type of bus?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. Some sort of mode of transportation. I am, of course, joking. Tag Team has got, hilarious, has got nothing to do with aeroplanes, but it is by the same publisher. It is the same size box. It is not cooperative. It is a fighting game. But unlike many fighting games, 2 players, right, where you were like playing cards to battle each other and then having devious mastermind plans. Yeah, machinations, right? This isn't anything like that. This is called an auto-battler. You have a deck of 2 cards at the beginning of the game. You arrange them however you like, and then you just play every card in sequence. Yeah. And like, yours is an attack, mine is an attack. We each attack each other. Oh, okay. And then the next card, mine is a special ability and yours is a special ability. Okay, well, yeah, okay. So, like, we had no control over that, right? It was. Well, we arranged the cards at the beginning.
Right. So we had some control over it.
Yeah, but really I didn't know what you were going to do. You didn't know what I was going to do, right? And then the next time we go through it, the deck is in the same sequence.
So now I know what you're going to do. But
we draw 3 cards.
Oh, I put my cards
from our combined deck of 2 characters. Then we choose 1 card. I'm going to go, oh, this is an attack. I'm going to put it right on the top. And I can put this card anywhere. I can put it on the top. I can put it on the bottom. I can put it in between the 2. But let's say I put it on top. What happens next?
Look,
I play
an attack.
Okay. So now I know Elaine's first card is an attack. And Elaine knows my first card is an attack. So next time we draw 3 cards and add 1 to the deck, how are we going to offset this sequence? So that's basically how this works, right? And what's fun about it is that there are 2 characters, And each character...
Because it's tag team.
Yeah, each character works in very different ways. So, for example, this is Bodvar. Bodvar is a man and also a bear. And the way it works is...
Bodvar Bearman.
Bodvar Bearman, yeah. Yep.
So you looked at me like, oh, is that a real... No, it's not a thing. No. I'm just being silly.
Bodvar has a bear track, a rage track, and then there are cards that give him rage. And then when this rage fills up, he will flip and become bear mode, right? So that's Bodvar's gimmick. Whereas...
And he will never change back.
That's so sad.
Isn't it?
Forever bear.
Yeah.
This is Wong Fei Hung, who mostly uses like the other characters, the opponent's attack power against them, and also feeds his own attack cubes into the tag team partner. So there's like a cool gimmick for each character that keeps happening. And I think part of the charm of tag team...
He has really cool eyebrows.
I wish I had eyebrows. That's cool.
Right.
Part of the charm of tag team for me is like finding these combinations of different characters, because there are 12 in the box.
Yeah.
So that's already a lot, right?
Yeah.
And like figuring out how they work with each other and what their strengths and weaknesses are, right?
Yeah. I when we played so we played with these characters, which it recommends you start with, and that was fine. And then we had the freedom to pick our own characters, and I just went on vibes, and
it
that
did
was
not go well.
I kind of wanted something that had a big attack and then something that was a support. I thought that's fine. That's a good combination. You know, big attacks and support. It did not work out at all for me.
No, because you had one character that had pretty low health, right? And another character who hurt their partner to buff themselves up. And it was like, this is a bad combination.
But I didn't know that.
But that's part of the charm of this game. It's like discovering what works well together, what doesn't. But also this kind of, for board games, unique novel mechanism of like, oh yeah, we actually we have no control over what cards we play, but we have control over the sequence of cards where we can offset it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it makes it more interesting that you are playing the two characters, because the character, you know, when you reveal the cards, whichever characters you have revealed will be doing things with each other. The support character or the other character won't be doing anything, like, unless, you know, they have an ability that affects both, right? So you're also balancing up, okay, which character do I put where? Like, where do I insert the cards? So I've got, you know, I picked this new card. That's my character that has a lot of boats. Where do I put this best in the deck that it will affect you and it won't like hurt my character? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I do know what you mean,
because they have different levels of health, they have different abilities.
Yeah.
Right? So what punishment can they take from, you know, and what can they do back?
Exactly. Like Bodvar,
it's smart.
When he transforms, his health will become the number of like power cubes that he has, right? So you kind of don't mind hurting him at the beginning, especially because you get an extra power cube like somewhere down the health track, and you're going like, hey, you know, like it doesn't matter if he gets hit a couple of times, and just transform, get a lot of his health back, especially if he manages to get those power cubes. So pairing him with a character that like damages the partner actually could be a pretty good strategy if it works out, right? But there is this like very tricky balancing mechanism with the programming aspect of the game, where even if like you have two characters that complement each other very well, there's still that element of execution of like, how are these cards going to fall together? And because you shuffle both the characters' decks together into one deck and then draw free at the end of every round, you don't quite know whether you're going to get the right cards to complement each other as well, right? Yeah, exactly. It's very clever. I really enjoyed it. It's not my favorite thing, mostly because I just like the two-player kind of beat 'em up experience. There's so much already in this, and this is different. This doesn't feel like other games in this genre. This doesn't feel like Magic the Gathering at all. This doesn't feel like games like Exceed or BattleCon. Do you remember we played BattleCon ages ago? Yeah. It's not quite like those, and it's a lot less finicky than those as well.
I don't know if this is intentional, but I think this is a game that you can't take too seriously. Like, you know, you mentioned Magic the Gathering, which is a game that you play quite seriously.
Yeah, there's
people
competitions
build their
and stuff
decks,
like
there's,
that,
there's
tournaments,
tournaments, right? And I think this is a game that you play for fun. and you just have a good time, sort of trying to, maybe trying to get the best characters together that you can, but also maybe going, well, let's see what happens.
Right,
if we put these two characters together, and trying to work out how best to deal with that situation that you've put yourself in.
The see what happens aspect is like a really big appeal of this because each time you play, like it is almost like a revelation of like, okay, so I've pressed a button effectively. I've chose a button to press. Like, what's gonna happen? Let's see. And then it kind of
a fish or a lump of poo.
Yeah, it keeps cycling and resolving itself, and that's definitely like an appealing part of this game for me, at least. Sure. I know you liked it a little less than I did.
Yeah, because I'm not big kind of 2-player head-to-head. I don't like the battlers sometimes because I never quite know where I am with them. But I think I like this more than some others because of that programming element. And I do like programming. But having said that, there is a kind of memory element to it. If you are able to remember what the order of the cards are, you are going to do better because when you get your new card, you're going to be able to slot it in better. And I know that the other player will also kind of change their order, or has the ability to change their order slightly by slotting their card in somewhere else. But you're going to have an idea of what's going to be played out. And I think I don't have a good memory, right? So I think that I'm not very good at that. But I still had a nice time playing it.
There is this very uncomfortable sense within this game where you're like, wait, what's the sequence? And you try to remember, but then you realize this sequence can be offset at like any stage of the sequence.
Yeah.
And you try to puzzle out, wait, so if they offset it there, how does this move the cards? And then your brain breaks at that moment and you go, you know what? It doesn't matter. Well, let's try.
See. And you see where they've put that card. And you go, oh, okay, they've put that card there. What can I do to make that better?
And then you try to remember that sequence. And then you go, wait, what if they offset that sequence there? And it keeps looping and looping and looping.
You know, the Granny went to market and bought an apple, and Granny went to market and bought an apple and a banana. Granny went to market and bought an apple. It's like if Granny did the alphabet, but then you just chucked random things in the middle of like letters.
Yeah.
It feels like that.
It's good. It's definitely unique and discomfort-inducing in a very particular way. But it's also fun because if you do manage to just like let go and go, yeah, whatever, okay, and then you're having a nice time. At number 4, we have number 1. As in, number 1 on the global post-Essen hotness is Recall. It's only number 4 in our list because we didn't think it was the best. We thought it was pretty good. So this is a sequel to a popular Euro game called Revive, which is mechanically compelling and thematically a jumble, I want to say. like the whole setting.
Thematically a jumble?
Yeah, thematically.
Well, sorry, Revive or Recall?
Both of them.
Both, okay, both.
Yeah, you know, the idea of Revive is that you're like, after 4,000 years or whatever, humanity has come back from the ground to rebuild civilization. Okay, and this is clearly like maybe 4,000 years after that, where like they did not rebuild civilization, and then there's just like, yeah, let's remember what all of this was about. You know, that's kind of the setting.
Let's get back to our roots.
And that's a fine setting. I'm not criticizing it. I'm saying nothing about this gameplay evokes that idea in any way, apart from that, like, you discover things, you go to land and you explore the land.
You explore it, but you can turn it round to how you want to turn the land.
Yeah, the land like can be what you want it to be. The land
is on tectonic plates that you could just like roundabout. You know, can,
it's how it is in the real world, isn't it? Magellan was like, and I'll put this ocean here, and the world is round. Exactly.
And that's what the game is about, and robots.
Yes. So this is kind of like an action selection game where you have this big player board, and you slot these keys into action slots. So these action slots are predetermined. They do like some specific things. But the keys are not predetermined. So the keys themselves you start with, they don't do anything.
Yeah.
But then later, the ones you get that are upgraded, they have like effects on them. So you can combine basically effects on keys with effects on action slots. But mostly what you're doing is you are going up on tracks. You're exploring new territories.
Building
you're building 3 different types of buildings, and one of those types has 3 different types within one of the types. So there's technically 5 different types of buildings, and you're getting bonuses for building those buildings, and you need people to build the buildings. So you get more people, you spread them out, you build more buildings, you go up on tracks. That's the game. Is it very involved? Yes. Is it very bonusy, and like you get one thing and then you spend it on another thing to get a third thing and fourth thing and so on?
Well, hopefully. Yeah. That's the idea. Yeah.
That's kind of the idea. And we've seen a lot of games like that. I will say that this is broadly very enjoyable. I had a good time. The puzzle was crunchy. I was in my own ADHD world where I was like, oh, boom, 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 bonuses, right?
Yeah.
It was fun. I wouldn't say this is better than Revive, because I think that is just my estimation. Revive is a little lighter, but also a bit more satisfying.
Do you think, why satisfying then?
I think you
because you can combo those things easier.
I think there's just a little bit less mechanism in Revive, and that kind of reduced load lets you just engage with the game more.
I think I agree with that. There were a lot of times. So the board is big, right? And I think it depends on where you sit as to how well you can see different things on the board. So there were a lot of things that. I was going, okay, what does that do again? What does that say on that card? Like, what does that say on that tile? If I go here, can I do this? Like, I think there was a lot of that because this game is so involved, right? I think it is the kind of game that rewards you for playing it more, because you will get to know what these symbols mean. I did struggle a bit with the iconography in this game.
It's a very
because there is
muddy
so
looking
much
game.
Of it.
A lot of it is very white, and very like aggressively white in such a way where it's like so in your face, and even the tracks themselves, you have white, gray, black. That's the gradient of color, right?
Yeah.
And actually, sorry, just to pull you aside a little bit, another thing, there's just some weird things in this game. Like, so for example, like the free tracks, you obviously, if you're at the top of a track, you get a big point bonus. That's not new in Euro games, right? So there's free tracks. What they mean in the game is kind of like arbitrary, because you'll randomize the bonuses during setup, but the points values on them are different. Right? Yeah. And I guess that maybe includes variety, but it's something that we've noticed maybe about 3/4 of the way into the game, that, wait a minute, I was going up on the track that rewards me like 12 points. And I just noticed that the other track gives you 18 points.
But it's not a secret. So it starts off as a secret, what the bonuses are, right? But
no, it's not a secret at any point, right? Like the bonuses.
Is because the cards don't turn over until someone reaches that point.
Oh well, yeah. Okay, so you do get like a special, like faction that's unique to that track that you can invest yourself with and get the special ability. You're right. Sorry. Yes.
And then you go, oh no, this isn't the one that I really want. But never mind. It's hard. I don't know if it's hard to balance those 3 tracks though, or if you're just going, okay, well, I'm just going to go up to the top of the one that I can.
Yeah.
Or the one that's the most points. Is the difference of, what is that, 6 points between the highest and the lowest. So it's quite significant. Although it is quite a high scoring game, so maybe it's not that significant.
I haven't counted, but I wonder if there's less of these grey pips that let you go up on that specific track making it harder to go up on it.
Possibly.
It's hard to say. We don't have that much experience with this game. We've only played it once.
Correct.
It was one of our earliest plays at Spiel. And I will say that broadly, everyone left the game satisfied, but also broadly, everyone left the game tired. And those of us who have played Revive went, I'm not sure that this is better. Right?
I think whilst we were playing it, I was enjoying it more than I had Revive, honestly. Simply because there was so much to think about and do. And I like, I do like it. I'm not very good at it, but I do like it when a game allows you to, it's kind of sandboxy almost, that you could do this or you could do this. You can explore, you can build buildings, you can, go up the tracks, you can upgrade your robots. Like
the Eurogame thing.
The Eurogame thing. But when there are so many things to do, you can collect these cubes, you can collect these pips, you can, and it has big Eurogame energy, right? For that.
It does.
So I think because of that, I did. When we were playing, I was enjoying it more than Revive. But at the end of it, my brain just collapsed into a pile of mush. And I didn't even do that well. And because, again, while I enjoy that, I'm not good at it because I tend to, try and do a bit of everything. And of course, that doesn't really work because I want to see what they all do. But I enjoyed the keys very much. I enjoyed being able to upgrade the robots. And because you can choose what the new keys do and the way that they upgrade.
And there's like tiers for the keys as well. Yeah. So if you start off with a yellow key, which is the easiest to get, has the smallest reward, but then you can upgrade it to green one key. And then you can upgrade it to a black one.
Key,
so that's fun. Yeah, because you're like not locked into this choice permanently. You kind of get sort of like, hey, this could be something better down the line.
Right. I didn't do particularly well, but I don't think I came that far behind.
I think everyone was pretty close.
But I never felt that I didn't have something to do. I was never taking the get $1 action type action. I always felt like, okay, well, if I do this, then I can do this, then I can do this, and I can do this. And I found that fun, but also very brain melty.
And finally, the final category of this video, where the games aren't just good anymore, they are pretty good. And that is a substantial, significant difference.
Improvement.
I think it's... Okay, so I think this final category is like games that can survive Essen Spiel. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like
people are going to be talking about them after Essen Spiel.
Hopefully, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not giving it a strong, definitive yes. I'm giving it... They've got a chance, know? Because honestly, like the way Essen Spiel works is that every year there's like lots of hype for like 30 games or so, and everyone's really excited about them. And then Essen comes and everyone gets them, and then 2 months later, no one's talking about these games.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. That's the curse of Essen Spiel.
Right? Yeah, it's so weird. But a few, I think, sometimes, survive and pull through.
And you think this is one of them?
I think it could be. It's got one significant thing going against it. And that's that the publisher, Ludonaut, is basically shut shop. And this is one of the two last games. The other one looked very unmemorable. I can't even remember what it is.
But this one looked exciting.
This one looked exciting, and I picked it up on a whim, and I thought this could be something. And folks, this is something. It's called Limit, and if there's one thing the 80s have taught us is that we have to push it to the limit.
I see.
Turns out, believe it or not, pushing to the limit is not good. No. Because that's when things break.
What are we pushing to the limit here?
The world.
The world.
You can see the world here, and you can see the word limit over the world.
Yeah.
I think it symbolizes something. So this is economic simulation game, where the idea that like infinite growth is impossible is being tested. What I immediately liked about this was that unlike, there was a very similar game released a couple of years ago called Hegemony, where, not similar mechanically, but similar in scope and ideas, that, it was testing like the class struggle in a board game simulation, right? And the way hegemony spoke about itself was basically, well, we're experts, so we know this stuff, and this is exactly how it would work in the real world. And I'm like, is it you centrist weird simulation game? Is it, or is there maybe some flaws in this model, considering it's a board game meant to be played, right? This does not do that at any point. The rulebook is very clear throughout that, like, hey, this idea fascinates me, and I think people should explore it and talk about it. So I wanted to make a game that maybe, has some chance at simulating scenarios that would play out in the real world. But if you don't think that that's how it works in the real world, then just discuss that. That's also interesting, right?
And it did provoke discussion between us.
Yes.
Even though it's competitive, we weren't discussing exactly what our plans were for the world, but you can see each other's boards, right? Mm-hmm. You can see what each other is doing. And you can see the sticky situations that each other is getting themselves into by trying to be good.
Yeah, well, okay, so that's only one of the options in the game. You can go full
that's
dictatorship,
what we both chose.
Right?
That's what I mean. That's what we both chose until I realised that being nice and trying to give people education, give people freedoms wasn't working, and I introduced the military
and colonialism.
Yep. And then I won by 1 point.
I introduced recycling.
I know you did. That was very good.
And sustainable consumption.
Well, I tried, and it just didn't work. The people were revolting too much, and I had to get the military to suppress them.
Maybe someone wasn't trying hard enough. I'm going to go over a few kind of mechanisms very briefly, right? So basically, you have this kernel of a system here in your player board where you have 3 types of production. So you have basically, I want to say sustainable goods, but it's food and stuff like that, right? Then you have industrial goods, and then you have military and economy goods.
I think the top one is agriculture.
Yeah, it's like agriculture. So you're trying to constantly push these up because you need these resources. Why do you need them? Because you also have population, and the population
and they want stuff.
Right, they need stuff like food to survive, right? So they keep eating. You need to keep making stuff for them. Then they need industrial goods, so you also need to keep making those. And then they start revolting because there's this track of people are happy, people are not happy, right? So if they're not happy, you need to introduce the military. And even if you don't introduce the military, you still gain military resources as things go on. And if you have too much, you basically start a Cold War. So you need to start spending them somewhere, right? And there's also
you can't beef up your military too much without worrying everyone else.
Right, exactly. And there's also these 5 tracks here, which is 5 different social classes from A to E. And their well-being, and basically the more they go up, the more it changes the rules of the game.
Yeah.
The key thing being that A can never be lower than B can never be lower than C.
Yeah, you can't have E being at the top and A being at the bottom. That's just not how life works.
It is. And there's also this track here in the center of the table where it's a kind of a public market where you can buy, sell, and adjust prices of various goods and resources. But the way the game is designed is that there are various pressure points. At the beginning of every round, in the 7 rounds, you're going to pick a deck, and it's the social cards and the industrial cards and the military and economy cards. So let's say I want to introduce some social policies. I would draw, at the beginning of the game, you would draw 5 cards, and you would be I can only have one of them. So you're going to start introducing, let's say I drew vegetarianism, right? So this is going to reduce how much people consume of your agricultural goods, but it's also going to temporarily increase in happiness just a little bit, which you can fix with the military. It's fine. And so this card is a permanent effect. There are also effects that are instantaneous effects, as in you play it, for example, education, you'll pay some money equal to your population, and then you will increase one of your social
welfare,
classes by 1, right?
Yeah.
That's an instant effect. But the thing is, this effect, you can play every round. When you play it, the card isn't discarded. It just goes back to your hand because it's hey, you can keep maintaining these policies through every epoch. And this is the sort of like system where like you are trying to manage your resources and you're trying to make things go up. But the way the system is designed is that there are various pressure points on this board. So for example, if I suddenly start producing too many industrial goods, which I will need because my like population demands
right.
I start using pollution, like gaining pollution and using up oil, which is a very limited resource. And
just like in the real world.
Yeah, right. And like once this production is at this level, it's not like you can just stop and go down. No, this is something you have to deal with every round. And then what's scary about it is that it's not just that like, oh, I've reached this threshold where things are bad. It's that I need to push this threshold further because the population keeps growing.
Yeah.
And it is...
So you're growing the population and thereby making more pollution, more using up more oil.
And so these cards are like this sort of... They're sort of like get out of jail free cards in a way for one of your problems, right? They will fix one of your problems, maybe a little bit. But also they will introduce like their own problems. And so it's problems the game. And I think this is very broadly exciting. Where I'm going to temper people's like excitement down is that a lot of this game is basically using this reference sheet. And then you have this little like tab and then you check your like class's level. And then you basically go step, 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 step. And a lot of these are just like automatic steps, as in you have to do these and there's like almost sometimes no choices. There's like feed your people and so on, right? So there's a lot of upkeep.
Right, it was very procedural, but I didn't mind that because you never were surprised by what you had to do next. Although I was. I say that you never are because you can literally see on the sheet what is going to happen next. And even so, I was going, oh no, I thought I was fine and I suddenly don't have enough resources to do this thing. So I didn't mind that at all. And I think, you know, when you look at it, it looks a bit intimidating. But actually, it's just like, you know, having an index of things that, you know, you need to follow. So I didn't mind that at all. But you're right, it is a bit maybe too procedural for some people.
But it is also a game that's broadly very funny. So, for example, one of the cards is tourism, as in like if you play the tourism card, you're first of all going to trash some money from the World Bank, right? Like a little bit. It's not a big deal. It doesn't matter, right? No. Like it's fine. But then you get to steal some money from your opponent. And it's like, oh, that makes sense. I'm sending my tourists to their country. Or the other, no, I'm taking their tourists into my country. Right. You know, I'm making some money. This is great. So I play the tourism card. And then Elaine plays the tourism card. So basically, we took money from each other in the same amount. It all evened out to zero. But then we trashed the World Bank of its supply of money.
Yeah. It looks like it has a lot of money in it. And you think, oh, it's going to be fine. And then it's not fine.
Yeah, it's that joke about like, you know, if you give me $100 and then I give you $100, nothing happens. What do you mean nothing happens? We changed the GDP, you know? Like,
it's like
it's that, right? Yeah. Like, and so it's pretty cool because then things start happening like, oh, we ran out of money in the World Bank and suddenly there's a financial crisis that starts happening, and then more financial crises might start happening. And we felt, I think, that we were barely scratching the surface of this game in this two-player game where we both played the game in a way where it's like, I'm just trying to make a nice nation that like survives and, you know, like maybe does a little bit colonialism on the side, maybe does a little bbit of pollutant extract, some minor fracking between friends, you know, what does that even mean?
I mean, there's a weird kind of mechanism too, where, because it almost feels semi-cooperative in some ways, like you're trying to keep money in the World Bank. You're trying not to tank that figure. But I mean, you're still playing competitively, but there are cards as well, like humanitarian aid, where any player can donate into that amount. I think it was $50, and any player can donate into that. And then the player that has played that card gets an extra bonus, but everyone gets a bonus,
And
whether they've paid into it or not.
There's an element of negotiation there, right? That where you can all be like, hey, we can fix this situation a little bit. And it kind of does matter because, you know, like with the humanitarian aid card, it removes like those, what are they called? Conflict tokens or something like that, you know? And you know, they're negative points at the end of the game. So you do want to get rid of them, right? So it behooves you to do that. And it's strange and interesting how, like, I felt like we have barely scratched the surface because the dynamic of this game would be very different if there were, say, not 2 but 4 players playing.
Yeah, I think so.
And one of them was going completely rogue, you know, and like, how do you deal with that? You know, they are a dictator, a military dictator, you know, they are harassing everyone. I think those games would introduce a lot of dynamism and unpredictability that could be interesting and or frustrating to scratch.
I think you're right. I think it could be incredibly frustrating if someone is just hoofing money out of the World Bank all the time, or, you know, I don't know, taking all the oil, because the oil is a limited resource.
Yes.
So, you know, if someone is like, well, I'm just going to, you know, bump up my military to really high and they need 10 oil every round, right? And they're taking it from various different places, you're going to run out quickly. And I think that is quite frustrating. But I think it is representative of what, you know, some nations do.
Just a few minor notes on the production of this game. Like, broadly, I'm very excited by it. A few things that I didn't love was that there are edge cases in the rule book where it feels a little bit woolly about how it should work. And, you know, like the response of the designer is basically, well, you know, how do you think it should work?
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I do respect the approach that the designer is not treating this game as a kind of a, you know, like, you know, final stop where like, this is how this works.
It's not
right?
didactic.
No,
is that what you mean?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, it does make for it being a sort of a loosey-goosey experience.
But the world is a loosey-goosey experience.
Well,
After life is a loosey-goosey experience.
The second thing that I don't love is the stock image artwork on these cards. Like they just don't scream excitement for me. And like the production is broadly fine, but like there's a lot of little bits that all have to be kept in these cardboard tuck boxes, and the way these tuck boxes, one second, I'm gonna just fish one out. YouTube magic. The way these tuck boxes work is basically you're meant to store a bunch of loose components in here, but like they're not secure.
Yeah.
So
they fall out.
Yeah, you end up having to get a baggie anyway and put the baggie in the tuck box because otherwise the components will be all over the box. So not like the best production in the world, and there is that element of this being like the last game before the publisher shutters its doors, which sad, incredibly sad. But also, what does that mean for the game's future? Is this going to be broadly available? Will people be able to pick it up? And if it does become an exciting hit, like what happens to the game next?
I'm not sure that it's exciting enough to need to worry about that.
Do you not think so?
I think it's good. I think it is a good game, but I don't think it's going to be a runaway success.
I think it is offering something that, like, is an experience that I just broadly not encountered before, apart maybe from Hegemony, but that felt also different. That felt more like a chunky Euro game. This feels more like a loosey-goosey economic simulator. Do you know what I mean? Like, this isn't as meaty, and it's actually really easy to teach because there's in the rulebook it suggests to do a rolling teach, as in just like say this is what we're doing and start playing and go through round one and people will pick it up, and that's exactly what we did and it worked. Right?
I just wonder if thematically I think it's incredibly clever. I think like what you're doing is you're a nation and you're trying to succeed. But the struggles that you encounter doing it, you know, you're trying to do good things and you get to a point where you literally can't just, you know, deal with vegetarianism and humanitarian aid, and you need to get the military in or colonialism or something.
No, you did.
Well, I did, yeah. Well, you had to get the military in at one point as well. Anyway, but I wonder if the gameplay...
It was just some very light military, Elaine.
How you feel when you're playing this game is a bit too sad because the world that we live in is very sad.
Sure, yeah.
And it's a bit like, pandemic was not played a lot during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because no one needed extra pandemic on top of their pandemic. And I just wonder if this might not do as well as it should as a game because it is sad.
I get that. I felt a broad joy of
that's good.
Tinkering with these systems. Don't know where that came from.
Because of tanks in the military.
The military, yeah. I had fun, and I did have fun discussing what happened and why. I don't think it is broadly an education tool and more kind of just tinker around with it, and hopefully it produces something fun and resonant at the same time. So I don't think it's like deeply profound in any way or anything like that. But I think there is a joy in it.
I think so too. And there were a lot of clever mechanisms in it, I thought. I really liked how you gradually, as your society got progressively, better off, they had more welfare. You got more cards to choose from. You had more choices. I thought that was kind of really thematic. Like the better you're doing, the more choices you have. Like the more privilege you have as to what you can decide to do. And in game and in the real world, I thought that was quite a smart choice. But then you're still choosing between the military or society or economics or whatever it's called. And you're trying to make those decisions and balance them. And you're taking a deck and you're looking through and you're going, okay, this card this time. And then, okay, what am I going to take next time? I need to balance this out with something else. And like you said, you get an answer right now, but it causes a problem somewhere down the line. And I thought that was pretty smart. And I enjoyed that kind of to and fro.
I am looking forward to more plays of this. Definitely something that we're going to keep exploring, especially there's also like an allies variant, like you can make alliances and stuff like that. And that's not really recommended in a 2-player game. So we're looking forward to playing more of this. And
at a high player count.
Yeah, seeing how it shakes out. I like this game a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it's at number 2. But this is really good. This is just charming and good. And you know what? When we played it first, I think people were like, and as soon as we finished playing, everyone at the table went, I want to play that again. And I think that's kind of like the staying power of Ghost Lift. So Ghost Lift is a card game where you have a lot of creepy artwork on the cards.
It's good artwork.
It's very good.
Very
it's
nice.
artwork by Sai Beppu, knocked it out of the park. But basically this is a climbing shedding game, like Scout or Teach You or whatever. But there is only one suit, the green suit, right? And the rules of it are pretty simple. Let's say I play a card into the trick, right? So currently, because of setup, we have this elevator tile. And this elevator tile is pointing up. That, at the moment, doesn't mean anything because I can play any card.
Sure.
The trick
means
has
the lift is going up.
Yeah, it means the lift is going up, but it doesn't matter. The trick hasn't been started. No. But let's say I start the trick, and I always have to start with one card with a 10, right? And that 10 has an arrow pointing down, which means we immediately start going down. So Elaine can then follow this trick with
a 7
because it's lower than 10, right? But also the 7 has an arrow pointing up, which means we are going up, right? Now, when I play the next card into the trick, I can play basically the same amount of cards as Elaine has played, 1, or 1 card more. So I could play 2 cards as long as they are the same. So I would, for example, play 2 8s. And that's fine because it's higher than 7. There's 2 cards and there is an arrow going down. So that means the lift is going down. Some 8s will not have an arrow on them. And where I have this situation in my hand, so for example, here's 2 8s. the lift is going up. I play these 2 8s, and then Elaine has to play 2 cards higher than 8.
Yes.
Good luck.
I don't have that.
I win the trick.
You win the trick.
Right? And that's basically the game. The objective, as in any climbing shedding game, is to shed out your hand.
We haven't spoken about these little ghosties and what happened.
That's what happened when you
still have... but I have all 7s because we didn't shuffle this deck well, but I have 7s in my hand. So I must take little 7 ghosty and put him in front of me.
Yeah. And next time you also end up with 7s in your hand.
He gets worse.
And next time you end up with 7s in your hand.
It's very sad.
It's very sad.
It's very sad.
You lose the game. And in fact, you are the only person to lose the game.
I am.
In this game, one person loses, everyone else wins.
Because I get haunted, you see. It's very sad.
Yeah.
Apparently, so the thematically, this game, right, we are meddling kids. And we've gone into this haunted house where there are ghosts going up and down in the lift trying to find their way home. And we're like, what if we muck about with this? And
press some buttons.
We muck about and find out is what happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, one rule I haven't explained. Anytime you play cards into the trick or pass, you can take cards from the center. Like any card that's there in the center is, available. But if you take a card, you must refill it. And if you refill it with something, by chance, that
is the same number. Let's pretend it's this. You put over a 7, and then you put over a 7 again. It goes on top of the 7.
Yeah, so someone could take 2 7s, for example, which could help fix their hand or whatever.
Or ruin their hand.
Even though you don't want technically more cards, you have the options of taking more cards to make the cards that you have stronger because you can play like a higher tier set.
Yeah.
That's broadly it. And I think the genius of this game is its simplicity and just sheer amount of fun you have whilst playing it, because it takes those elements of Scout, where like Scout, it's just like you have all these numbers, but you can't change the order, right? This is here, it's much less restrictive, but that up or down mechanism is ingenious. There are elements that you notice as you start playing. For example, there are no 2s that point upwards.
Right.
2s, if they have an arrow, they always point downwards, which means 2 is an incredibly powerful card because you can be like, here's free 2s. Do you have free 1s?
If you don't, then
suck it.
Sorry.
Right? Yeah. So
yeah, it's a difficult game. It is a difficult game. And we had a lot of fun, I think, when we played this. And I think you're right that
I have to pick you up on this. It's not a difficult game.
It's difficult to make those decisions because whether you take cards or not is your choice. You don't have to. So you might be like, well, there's a 9 there. That will be really helpful to me. Because I have another 9 in my hand. So I take, the 9 and then someone plays a down arrow and you're like, oh, okay. What can I do with this? Because, I want to play a higher card and I can't. So that is what I was talking about.
No, I get what you're saying. The rules are simple, but the decisions are crunchy is what you're saying. Yeah, I can get behind that. I broadly recommend this. I think this is great. I think this is one of the best trick takers I've played in a long while.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, good.
I just really enjoyed it. It's very satisfying to play. It's moreish, but it's also one of those trick taking games that's good for, chewing the fat. When you're not actually looking for a game, you're just kind of winding down and you want to play something that's just fun and satisfying and you get to chat. It's very social. It's great. Would 10 out of 10 recommended. One problem. So this is published by publisher Endgames, which I believe is the same publisher that did Nokosu Dice.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And if there's one thing that people who are into trick-taking games know is that Nokosu Dice is notoriously unavailable.
Yeah.
This is a very small publisher, and Ghost Lift sold out pretty quick as a Spiel, which means this will be notoriously unavailable. I know there are some dedicated shops that import games from Japan. Like, so for example, in UK, it's travel-games.co.uk. And
little
then
shout out there.
What are you going to do? It's not like these games are easy to find, right? No. I know US has their own website. Yeah. I don't remember what it is. So I don't know. Like, if you can find it, great.
Or if someone has it, it's worth a play.
Yeah. Otherwise, this might be a little bit hard.
And it might come back at Essen next year, because they had Nikosu Dice at Essen this year, right? So maybe next year they'll bring back more if there's demand for them.
It is extremely on brand for us to put Ian O'Toole game, who's a convention buddy of ours. I mean, he's an artist, he's not a designer, but, you know, that's half the game, right?
Yeah.
At number one, so there's the disclaimer of bias here. But also, this is the best game I played at the convention. For me, it was the most satisfying one. And it's so weird to define that, because how do you compare Limit to Ghost Lift to Railway Boom? And it's one of the things that we've been talking about as we were kind of like...
It is, yeah, trying to figure out this list.
Yeah, how to rank these games. And the ultimate gist of it is that none of these rankings matter. Like, you can take the top 5 games and interchange them and, like, they'd be fine. You know, they're all pretty satisfying in their own different ways and represent the broad range that the hobby has to cover. But I had the most fun playing this. And it's because it's extremely NPI in the things that I like. You know, it's trains, auctions, and Eurogame. Like, combine these 3 elements together, and you have Hisashi Hayashi's Railway Boom. So you might be familiar with this designer. He recently won Spiel des Jahres with Bombbusters, a very different game.
Yes. And a game that we kind of bounced off of a bit.
Yeah, we didn't dig it, but he's designed Trick of the Rails, which is a trick-taking 18xx sort of ish game. Not really, but, you know, riffing on those motifs. And he's also designed a Yokohama, which is a Euro game that introduced welcome movement to the world. So this is sort of taking the idea of cube rails.
Yeah.
And again, sort of making a game that works within the scope of cube rails, but also isn't quite cube rails. So if you played games like Irish Gauge, you know, or Chicago Express, this might feel familiar, but also not quite like that.
It has some of the same sort of patterns, yeah.
Yeah, in terms that you will be, you know, dotting trains across the landscape, trying to make routes and connect places on the map, right? And there are auctions, but also extremely Eurogame, right? There are things that will combine with other things that will score you points, and there's so many auctions. This, like, everything in this game is constantly being auctioned off.
Yes, I mean, that's the whole game. It's just it's auction after auction after auction. Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say it takes away the shares part of, like, any train games. Or any, like, 18xx or cube rails type games. There are no shares in this.
No.
You're not buying and selling. But what you are doing is collecting resources like in a Euro game. So, yeah, it kind of combines the two elements together very well.
Yes.
I thought.
It feels seamless. It feels smooth.
It does.
In a way where it's like, oh, it was always meant to be like this, right? And so I just had fun with it in a way that, like, I don't have any good words to articulate apart from I'm every moment of this game I am just enjoying myself.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't generally like auctions that much. I struggle with them. We know this. We all know this. And for a game that is essentially just auction after auction, I didn't have a problem with that at all, because I think because there are maybe it's like you just get used to it. You know, you just get used to it happening over and over and over again. And you go, okay. Something like that. But no, I think it was because you're using different resources every time.
Yes.
You're not trying, you know, it's like generally, or quite often in an auction, you have one resource that you have to spend for the auction, money or whatever. But whereas this, you're using wood, then you're using money, then you're using purple, whatever purple is. Gears. You're using gears to auction those off for very different things. So you have a choice of okay, well, I don't want to spend too much on this auction because I don't need this thing that it gives me that much. And I you know, because of that, I think I didn't struggle with knowing how much to bid.
Yeah, I'm going to give people a little bit of an overview what it is actually you're auctioning off. And first up, there's a player board. On it, you have resources on the right and you have income of those resources on the left. So whilst you might be getting resources from one thing or another and spending them, you'll move these pips down or up. But you also have income, which will broadly just go up. And at one point during the round, it will just give you a chunk of those resources based on how high your income is. So there's a lot of levers here already. But then each of these resources, as you mentioned, is used for a different auction. What kind of auctions are there? First up, you will be getting new locomotives and new carriages for those locomotives. These carriages have ways to get various things, like, for example, make different kinds of resources, and they have different properties, like how much coal you need to operate these locomotives and or carriages. And then also, like, there's various conditions. For example, this one will give you 2 points, but will also give you 1 money for each carriage that already produces money. So, like, there are lots of finicky ways you can build these trains, and what's fun is that you can rebuild them.
Right, that you can take the carriage off the engine and stick it on another engine.
Because that's fine.
And that's the one you're going to power this time.
Yeah, it's a different year. We're reconfiguring everything.
Yeah.
Then you're going to auction for actually where you're going to be building your routes and then connecting these routes. There's reasons to connect routes for, like, ticket to ride style scoring. You know, like, hey, I built a route from here to there, right? But there's also,
and I
like,
get points.
Yeah, you score points at the end of the game for your longest route. But also, in addition to that, building into different cities lets you get more income in your different resources, and also you can modify your actual locomotives and carriages with the types of resources they produce. So again, carriages, locomotives, important. Building on the map, important. Next up, is this important?
Yes.
You decide. But generally, yes. Like, there are various bonus cards. You have another auction for bonus cards. So that's important. And then you start operating all your trains and all of that. And after that, there's another auction for endgame scoring and how much you're going to be scoring for each of the 4 random endgame conditions.
I think what I liked about that, sorry to interrupt.
No, I'm done. I'm done with the broad overview. That was a lot and very quickly.
That was very good. That was a very good overview. Thank you. What I liked about that was that you always do get something. Whereas, you know, sometimes in an auction, if you don't bid enough, you don't get anything at all and you're falling further and further behind. Whereas in this, like I said, you know, you can choose which auctions you want to go in hard, or depending on the resources that you have available to spend. You can go in hard, or you can go, actually, you know, whatever is laid out here is fine. Like if someone else chooses this and I get this, that's okay. I can work with that. Or you can go, no, I really, really, really want this location because it's really good for me. I'm going to try and get this a lot. You know, I thought that was very nice that you're not really punished for not outbidding your opponents. But you will get something.
The fun part for me is that the game knows when to not overcomplicate itself. So the auction is the same mechanism for all 4 auctions in the game. And what's fun about it is that it's a pretty simple auction. So every time you are lowest on the auction track, you have to either bid higher and pass. And if you, like, let's say I am on 4, Elaine is currently on 1, so she can either go to 5, or actually you don't even have to go higher. You go to any higher available space. So for example, Elaine doesn't want to be on 1 because someone else might go higher, but she also doesn't want to outbid me, right? So she doesn't want to go to the 5 space. She could go to the 3 space. Lock herself in a comfortable 2nd for now, right? And the reason all of that is happening is because whoever's highest on the track, full price. 2nd highest, full price. 3rd highest, half price. If you're last, you pay nothing. It's whatever, right? So,
which again is a good thing, because if you're really struggling with that type of resource and you go, I'm not going to get anything for it, you do get something. You just don't get the quality of choice. You don't get the freedom of choice. But you get something and you don't have to pay for it. So then if you've got some of that resource, you can put that into the actual action, like the buying of the cards or whatever. It's very good. It's very smart.
It is very smart. So the two publishers listed on this box are Okazu Brand and Arclight Games. There is a secret third publisher, which is Cranio Creations,
okay.
which is where I picked this box up from at Essen Spiel. Well, so this will be broadly available, right? This is not like Ghost Lift where it's just like, oh no, we're stuffed, right? A couple of notes on this production. The artwork is, I think, again, biased because it's Ian, but I like it. I think it explains the game really well. You had issues with one of the scoring cards where like, what is this spider? But like, I got it immediately. So.
No, I wasn't worried about that either.
Yeah.
I wasn't one of those people that were worried about that. I think it's like anything, once you figure out what one thing means, you figure out what that means for the, when it repeats.
Yes.
Is what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. There are some first printing issues. There's like an income dot missing where to place your thing. And then I got like an extra one of these houses. Yep. Which so there's maybe, I don't know, maybe that's just my copy where I have a bonus house. Maybe everyone's copy will have a bonus house and then you can put that house on your desk and be like, oh, that's my little house.
But importantly, there was not a house of another colour missing. It was just a bonus house.
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
Yeah. So, that's it on the production. Otherwise, I think it's produced quite well. And I love this game. I can't wait to play it. I am really looking forward to trying it at 2 because it does play at 2. And this might be the first sort of Cube Rails adjacent game that actually plays pretty great at 2 because it's so Eurogamey, right?
We'll see.
What a good game.
And that is all the games that we played at this year's Essen Spiel. Thank you so much for listening. And with that, why don't you say goodbye, Efka?
Goodbye, Efka.
Goodbye, Efka.